Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. It's Tuesday night, April the 5th, and these are the charts of the day. A lot of stocks still looking good and moving forward, and we're getting some breakouts across the board here. But perhaps that's the beginning of the end. But we'll see if how far we can take this rally. And even though the indices have basically consolidated for the last 2 or 3 sessions, been back and forth, have been unable to break to the downside too much. The NDX is showing signs of weakness in large cap. Tech stocks are suffering a bit. Google got hammered today on some negative news. So we'll see whether that means much. I'm also concerned about Apple and several others. But stocks we're following are doing well. Here's a couple examples. AAU, Almaden Minerals, which we gave you as a swing trade out in November when it ran up through the 3.5 range. It got up to 5.25, so that was a nice little pop there. But came down and consolidated over the last 4 months. Today, however, a significant price volume surge, 2.9 million, up 81 cents or 20%. That's the biggest volume since November when it was running. And it looks to me like a new uptrend may be emerging as the stock has a chance now of taking out its December high. And if so, a move up towards the 8.25 level would be my intermediate target, short-term target at 6.25. Silver stocks doing very well with the price of silver over $39 an ounce. One of my favorite ones over the last several months has been First Majestic, symbol AG. You can see how it's accelerating up another 210 or almost 9% today on 3.25 million. That's the heaviest volume I think the stock has ever traded. And yep, and since it's been public for the last year and change, so at this point, a run towards the top of the channel may be in order here near the $30 range. Junior Energy. Alon USA Energy ALJ still in a beautiful rising channel since the December low around 5. It has now nearly tripled, reaching 490 today, up another 77 cents or 5.5% on increasing volume of 612,000 shares. Now the top of the channel and our original target when we spoke about it several days ago was around 16, and that's what we'll be looking for here short term. ARIA. This swing trader idea of ours, which popped a couple weeks ago, continues to move higher and has run from 6 to 8.5. Today, closing at 836, up 39 cents or nearly 5% on 3.25 million in a beautiful, tight, rising channel. Now, the top of this short-term channel we've drawn in here is around 9.25. We have some lateral resistance just above here, about 8.75. So that's the range at which we may see some pullback, consolidation, etc. But certainly a nice, strong trend for ARIA. BDCO may be emerging from this consolidation pattern. The declining tops line today was taken out with a thrust of 64 cents, an increasing volume of 400,000 shares, almost a 9% advance. If this gets up through the 8.75 range that it hit in early March, we can see the stock really explode into the 10.5, 11.5 zone, and we use the $11 range as our trading target. Up next is Elan, also a swing trade idea of ours, which popped here and then consolidated in a wedge. Today it pulled down in the morning 668 and then exploded to 725, closing at 715 at 35 cents or 5%. But volume was the heaviest in 3 months at 7.5 million. And if we take out today's high at 7.25, we can see this move up quickly to get to the top of the channel and lateral price resistance about 8.25. That's my short-term target. Endo Pharmaceuticals, ENDP, went to new all-time highs today after a 6-month base. The stock popped last week, edged up higher, had an inside day yesterday and today after reversing early in the morning from 37.77 ran to 40.60 and closed at 40.42, up $1.92 or 5%, 2.25 million shares. And at this point, if you step back and look at the long-term pattern, you'll see that long-term chart indicates the possibility we may see a stock that begins to run here. So keep your eye on it. My target is in the high 40s right now, short term. EXK, another one of my favorite silver stocks, and a beautiful rising pattern off of the recent lows, the base pattern that occurred last year. The move began in August at around 3, is now nearly quadrupled, reaching 11.17 today, up 98 cents, 9.6%, closed a penny off its high on 4.8 million. It sure looks like that today's breakout of this wedge formation should lead to a quick move to 12, and we'll see what happens after that. Secondary target around 13.5. INPH Interphase popped 50 cents or 7.5% today on 800,000 shares. That's the biggest volume in about 3 weeks. And it may have come out of this falling, declining tops line or wedge pattern here. It popped 50 cents, like I said, or 7.5%. And if it gets above the $7.50 range. I'd look for a quick move to about 8 3/4, my short-term trading target for INPH. Novogen had a big pop today after it popped last week and pulled back down for 4 days, tested the gap, it popped for 48 cents or 37% today on 2.9 million shares. It did back off its high of 214, but if we can get it back over that 214 range, I'm looking for a retest of the last week's high up around 285. That's my initial target. Secondary target up at 3.5 3/4. OCZ had a significant 46-cent move or 5.5% on 2.4 million. That's the heaviest volume of the month, and it's moving up to test the March high around the 9.25 range. Through that, we can see the stock make a much more substantial move as the long-term rising channel now calls for a potential move, should the breakout occur, into the 12 and then 14 range. PKT had a significant price volume surge. Procera jumped $1.41 or 15%. 616,000 shares was the biggest volume the stock has just about ever traded. Let's take a look back. As far as we can go back several years now, that's the highest volume it ever traded. And what it appears to be doing here is coming through a key overhead resistance level. It closed above the 1045.50 area of resistance, and it now looks like it may be headed into the mid-teens up to around 14. That's our trading target. Travelzoo, I just wanted to show you this because of our recommendation a couple months ago, and the stock was trading in the high 30s, is now 80.86. I have another 457 today, and in just two short weeks, has gone from the high 40s to the low 80s in 2 weeks. Incredible. It's just to say the least, a tad overbought, and at the top of the channel, so I would say I'd be hesitant about any further upside here, but play it with stop. Certainly stop it below today's low, but that's 7 points from here at 73. So let's keep close tabs on that one. And lastly, today is a new swing trade idea of ours, UPI, which exploded out of a key multi-month trading range here. Had been edging up slowly over the last 3 weeks, and has now moved from about 5 to 8 over the last 2.5 weeks. But the key breakout occurred over lateral price resistance around 670 today, and it closed at 787 up $1.05, significant 15.4% move on the heaviest volume since December. With technical surging as well, there may be more upside to go on this one. Certainly my longer term target looks for something in the high teens, but let's call the short term target around 10.5, 11. And lastly today, also to show you one of our big runners from the last few months and weeks, Pharmaset VRUS has been running from the mid-20s in July, August to today in the mid-90s. That's a huge run. Look at the platform that occurred, a basing pattern that occurred over the December, January, February period. This big price breakaway surge here, price volume surge, followed by this bull flag down around 59.5, led to the last 2-week run to 94.5. Another one certainly overbought, but with strong momentum. But I wanted to just show you that, not recommending it here, just wanted to let you know how these patterns work and how well we've done with some of them. That's it for tonight. Have a good evening.